Good morning, everyone. How are we all doing this morning? We will be starting the webinar now. But just so for information, this meeting is being recorded. The meeting is being recorded. Please, if you can hear me, just give a thumbs up so I know you can hear me. Okay, thank you. Thank you, John. Okay, so like I was saying, the meeting is recorded, so we'll be starting now so we do not take up too much time. Welcome everyone to today's webinar. This is the final series for the HR webinar, and I'm really excited. My name is Seyosi Jeanette Baoye, and I'm the Human Resource Manager at Cedro Royal. So welcome once again. So yes, we'll be taking our check-in now. So you just use the chat box below. You just tell us where you're joining us from, and on a scale of 1 to 10, rate your performance at your last interview. On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate your performance at your last interview? So I'm joining from Abuja, or I'm hosting this from Abuja. So just let me know where you're joining us from and how would you rate your last interview on the scale of 1 to 10. Be truthful. We don't judge here. So you can just tell us how you. Thank you, John. You can drop your hand now. From Kogi State. Amazing. Thank you. Okay. Thank you. From Kogi State. Joining from Kogi State. I'm joining from Abuja. You can use the chat box to just tell us where you're joining from. And on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate your last performance? So while that is, while we're getting feedback from participants, we'll just quickly move. I see your feedback, I'll read them out. So let's move. So yes, we started the series in January and from Kano State. Thank you, Abel. Amazing. From Kano State, thank you, Ishara. Beautiful. Well done, everyone. So we started this series in January and it's been a long ride. We had the first series, the second series, and the third, and now we are at the fourth, which is the final. So during the course of this eight, that's really nice, actually. Impressive. So during the course of this series four, I'll be doing a recap of series one, two, three. So we have an idea, and for those that missed it, series one is on our YouTube page. You can find that there. Series three is on our YouTube page. Series two, we had technical issues, but I'll try to make another recording of series two so that we can have series two because it was a very important webinar. It was talking about CV drafting, CV creation. So I'll try to do something regarding that and have that uploaded. And welcome to series four, where we'll be talking about how to land and win interviews, not just land, but yes, after landing the interview, we hope that you get the job, right? So we'll be looking at how to land and win interviews. Okay. So yes, welcome. I've been saying that since morning, but welcome once again. This webinar is supposed to be for 60 minutes, 45 minutes for the presentation, which is what we're going through currently, and 15 minutes for question and answer. But I'll try to keep it under that 60 minutes. It might not get to 60 minutes because this is a very short but insightful webinar. Okay. So yeah, Cedro Royal, the host or the convener of this webinar. It's a people-focused organization providing human resource, solar solution, agricultural solution, business development, and analysis. So we are into a lot of things. So if you have if you need help with regards to any of these areas I have mentioned, please reach out to us and we'll gladly assist as much as we can. So yes, at the end of this series, what do I hope you will get from this? One, you should be able to position yourself for opportunities. Two, you should be able to present yourself confidently. You should be able to network strategically, and you should be able to answer common interview questions. Please, if at any point in time you stop hearing me, kindly let me know, okay? So who is this webinar for? Fresh graduates, NYSC members, job seekers with little or no experience, career switchers, or those returning to the job or to the workforce after a break. So let's dive right into it. Like I said, I'll be doing a recap of everything we have taken from the first series to the third series before I dive into series four. Okay. So now understanding opportunities, and this was our first series where we talked about pathways to enter into the job market. We looked at different pathways to enter into the job market. Please, I want to be sure we can all see my screen. Kindly confirm you can see my screen because I'd like us to flow with it as we go. Can you see my screen? If you can just give a thumbs up or something, or use the chat box. I want to be sure we are all seeing it. Can you all see my screen? Who will I call now? Let's see. Someone should kindly confirm they can see my screen. You can unmute yourself if you can find the chat box. Okay, how do I do this now? Okay, but I can see my screen on my phone. Yes, perfect. Thank you, Feishara. So yes, we can see my screen. So I like us to go with the slides as we move, right? That's why I wanted to be sure we can all see my screen. Also, for those just joining us, this webinar is being recorded so that we have something to upload for people who missed the webinar to go back to. Okay? So yes, let's dive into understanding opportunities, which was our series 1, where we talked about entry pathways to the job market. We talked about different pathways and how to, leverage on them, right? So let's move quickly. Okay, so we talked about internship, we talked about graduate training programs, we talked about full-time roles, we talked about skill-based and roles. Then we also talked about what employers are really looking for, right? That was for series 1. So let's do a recap. For internship, these are short-term roles, right? Designed for learning and skill building internship, just like the name says, right? So it is often like is a gateway for full-time employment. Most internships they retain their top performing interns, right, and give them a full-time role. So it's a gateway for full-time employment. And it also focuses on gathering or gaining experience, networking, demonstrating potentials, etc. Brief recap of what internships are, right? So let's go to graduate training programs. Just like the name says, graduate training, right, for people who have gone to school and have graduated. Now, this has most graduate training program has specific requirements. Some require you to have a 2-1, a 2-2, a first class, right? And sometimes you're required to go through a lot of processes from the application to the assessment as the test assessment down to the interview, partners interview, and all of that. So it's a very long process for graduate training, most graduate training. So what is graduate training programs? Now it is structured, there are structured programs for recent graduates to develop professional skills, right? They typically include rotation across departments. Yes, you can enter, let's use a bank as an example. Let's say Wema Bank. You can, be accepted as a Wema Bank graduate trainee, and you have to go through sales, you have to go through human resource, you have to go through business development, different departments. So they just take you around all the departments to get practical experience before assigning you to one department, right? Employers expect adaptability, eagerness to learn, and long-term potentials. Like I said, they have more requirements compared to the internship or the volunteering roles. So what are full-time roles? Full-time roles, these are permanent positions. And most times is after you've gone through the internship or you've gone through the graduate training route or even direct access to full-time roles, right? But they are permanent position requiring readiness to contribute every day from day 1. Now, full-time roles, they assume that you have the skill already and expect you to start contributing to the team from day 1, right? So for full-time roles, they look at both technical and cultural fit. Are you technically fit for this role and are you culturally fit? Do your way of life fit into the company's culture, right? Those are things they look at. So what employers are really looking for: competence. Do you have the skill? Do you have the knowledge? Do you have the experience for the role? Initiative. Are you proactive? Are you solution oriented? Or if there's a problem, do you just wait till your superior or your supervisor tells you what to do? Attitude. How do you react to things? How coachable are you? How do you take feedback, right? All those things are what they look at. Communication. Can you express yourself clearly and confidently without sounding rude or with low confidence? Then cultural fit. Do your value align with the organization's value? So these are things that they look at when employing. These are things employees or employers rather look at when employing. So let's move straight to the next one. Positioning yourself strategically. And I would link this to CV, which is our series 2. Positioning yourself strategically. Now for every, pardon? Okay, sorry for that. So yes, positioning yourself strategically. For every step you take, for everything you do, there should be a reason why. Do not just take steps or do things randomly, right? So now, under positioning yourself strategically, we'll be looking at aligning your CV with roles, showcasing relevant skills, communicating values clearly, and personal branding basics, right? So let's move on. How do you align your CV with roles? Tailor your CV to each application. We discussed this extensively during our series 2 when we discussed CV. Always position or always tailor your CV to the role you are applying for. Do not just apply randomly. Do not use one generic CV, right, for application. Always tailor your CV. You also looked at email addresses. Make sure your email address is looking very professional. Preferably your first name, your last name, or your last name and your first name. Do not use nicknames or abbreviations that we do not understand. Always, be very clear with your CV, tailor it to the specific role you're applying to. Use keywords. The importance of keywords cannot be overemphasized because most recruiters right now use a system called ATS, Applicant Tracking System. Now, this automatically screens out CV that do not have specific keywords, right? I think I should do a recap of series 2 so that people who miss that can watch it. Always use keywords. How do you get these keywords? You get it through your, pardon? Okay, I wanted to be sure you can still hear me. So how do you use your keywords? You get it through the job role that you are applying to. Now, let's say you're applying for the role of a marketing expert. Once you go through the job description, the job requirement, there are certain keywords there. Include that in your CV. If you have those skills, please do not include skills you do not have. We'll end up finding out sooner than later, right? So use keywords, tailor your CV, and use professional email addresses. Now, how do you showcase relevant skills? Focus on skills that solve the employer's problem. Not all skills are necessary. Your baking skill, your cooking skill is not really necessary or important to your marketing role, right? Just saying. So always focus on skills that are relevant to the role you are applying for. Very, very important. Then include both technical and soft skills. Do not just focus on technical or soft, right? Let there be a balance between it. Talk about your technical skills, talk about your soft skills. Soft skills include problem solving, communication, teamwork, interpersonal skill, etc. All those are soft skills. Then your technical skills can include data analysis, data presentation, data visualization, UI UX design. All those are technical skills. So always let there be a balance between your soft skill and your technical skill. Then communicating value clearly. Use problem. When you're communicating the value that you have, always use the problem, action, result method. State the problem you had at hand, state the action you took to solve that problem, and state the results you got, right? Very, very important. Then personal branding basics. Personal branding basics. That's LinkedIn profile optimization. LinkedIn is a very good place to start when you want to network. You can optimize your LinkedIn profile. Use a professional picture. Do not use half face or a selfie, right? Use a professional headshot that clearly shows your face and who you are, right? Use a professional photo, use very good headlines and summary because those are the first thing we see on your LinkedIn profile before we even go down to your experience. Very important. Then consistency across CVs. consistency across CVs. Consistency across CVs. Be consistent. Not that in one CV you are telling us you worked with, let's say, okay, let's use my company as an example, Cedro Royal. Then you're telling us in one of your CV, maybe a marketing CV, you're telling us you worked with Cedro Royal in 2022. Then another of your CV that we finally got access to, I think you worked with Cedro Royal 2023, right? There's that inconsistency. So be consistent across your CVs, be consistent across your social media. For LinkedIn, there's a space where you put your experience, the year you worked, and all of that. So be consistent when you are filling all of that. Okay. That is personal branding. Present yourself as someone who brings value, someone who solves problems, not someone looking for a job. Those are different things. Always present yourself as someone who has value, who brings value, not someone looking for a job. Do not sound desperate when you're networking. Do not sound like it's a do or die affair, right? Always be professional. Okay, so now we're diving right into today's on, which is turning applications into interviews. Turning your applications into interviews. The first thing we'll be looking at is how to apply. Like I said, always apply intentionally. Be intentional about your CV. It's not how many applications you have done in a day. It is how many quality applications you have submitted. Not that I submitted 100 applications in the space of 1 month. How many quality applications did you submit? It's not by how many, it's by the quality of your application. So under turning applications into interviews, we'll be looking at applying intentionally, following instructions carefully, tracking applications, and leveraging connections. So let's take this one after the other. Apply intentionally. Do not just send application blindly. Focus on the role that matches your skills and experience and your career goals. Not just apply randomly. Do not be confused with your application, please. Do not send application for marketing, then send for human resource, then send for project management. You're just doing an all-round. Or then you send for sales and all of that. Please not be an all-rounder. Pick a career goal and focus on it and build on it, right? Very, very important. Then quality over quantity. Yes, I have said that earlier. Tailor each application to the role and the company. Know the company you're applying for. Research on the company you're applying to and tailor your application to that company. Then following instructions carefully. Read job postings thoroughly and follow all application instructions. Some recruiters are very strict, very, very strict. Once you're not following, or once you do not follow the instructions that they have given, they automatically disqualify your application. You see, especially for graduate training position, you see that multiple application leads to disqualification. Now, this clearly tells you that if you are applying because you're saying graduate training in sales and you're saying graduate training in human resource, and if you know I have both experience and you apply to both of them, automatic disqualification. So always follow the instructions carefully. Always follow the instruction carefully. Like I said earlier, for people just joining us, this meeting is being recorded. The meeting is being recorded. So yes, then missing details or documents can automatically disqualify you. Once they have a specific requirement that you should submit a particular document and it is not in your application, you can get automatically disqualified. I used this as an example during the CV webinar where I mentioned, I think it's the CV or the series 1, where I mentioned that we released a job application for solar technicians and engineers we're specific in Abuja and Kano, and we had people from other states applying, right? Now, what this clearly tells you is that they did not go through the job description. They just saw solar technicians, solar engineers, and they decided to apply. They did not even go through the job description or the job requirements to see the location requirements, to see what and what are required. They just apply because they have the experience. Right, so please always read instructions carefully. Always go through the job description and the job requirements. Some jobs will require you to have 5 to 7 years experience. Yes, and as a fresh graduate, you know you don't even have 2 years experience. Please do not apply to such jobs expecting a miracle to happen. Nothing is too hard for God to do, right? But always read the instructions carefully. Then we'll move to tracking application. Maintain a simple spreadsheet. The day you applied, or the day you saw the job posting, the day you applied, the documents they required, how do you follow up on those things? Always follow up the company's name, very important, the role, the date, the deadline, the application deadline, and etc. Things like that. Always check your emails regularly. Maintain a simple spreadsheet. You can just have serial number, date, company, role, the date you applied, the application deadline, stuff like that. It makes you keep track of what you have applied for or the jobs you have applied for, so you do not lose track. Please always check your email regularly. Some job interviews, like the offer for a job interview, some do not even last more than 24 hours. You can get an interview invitation right now, today, and the interview can be tomorrow or next tomorrow. So if you miss that, you miss that. And some job offer, you will hear that you have to respond to the email to accept or decline the job offer within 24 hours, right? And some people do not even check their email address for a whole day. So always check your email regularly. It is very important. So you do not miss deadlines, so you do not miss offers, and so you do not miss follow-up emails, right? So very, very important. Follow up professionally. Do not say, oh, I know the recruiter or I know the hiring manager, and you go to their DM or you go to their inbox and you are sending them a lot of messages because you had maybe a personal relationship with that. That is so wrong, right? So always follow up professionally. If you are doing a follow up on an application you have submitted, follow up professionally. If you're using LinkedIn, please be very professional on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a very good place to network, and it's a very good place to ruin your personality, right? So always, always, always follow up professionally. Then leveraging connection. Yes, reach out to mentors, alumni who can provide referrals. Your referrals are very important. Most jobs, before you get the job offer, they ask you for a referral, right? So always being, contact with your mentors, with your alumni, with people that you know are strong personalities that can be referrals for you. Then networking often increases your chances of getting noticed. Yes, before or beyond just submitting an application. There are some job opportunities that will come to you not because you submitted, but because you network. Like, okay, let's say I know someone who is into sales, and I have a job opening for sales. I will push it to the person, not saying I will give the person the job. No, please, not get me wrong. I'm saying I will inform the person of the opportunity and have them apply. That's what I'm saying. A lot of job opportunities or job openings will come to you through people you know or through people you have networked with. That's why networking is very, very important. Them telling you about the job does not mean you automatically will get the job, but it just gives you a leverage of information. Very, very, very important. Let's move on quickly. Now, confidence in interview. There's a thin line between having confidence and being rude. So let's get that out there. So we're looking at confidence during interview. And we'll be looking at preparation before the interview, appearance and first impression, body language, voice, and communication. Let's go through it one after the other. Preparation before the interview. Let's say you have applied for a job and you've moved on to the next stage, which is, for most jobs, is the interview stage. Some jobs is the assessment stage, right? But let's say you moved past the assessment, you've moved past the application, and now you are at the interview stage, right? Before you go for any interview, please research the company. Even if you do not research the company before applying, before going for the interview, research the company. Common questions they ask is, why do you want to work with us? And if you don't even know nothing about the company, please, how do you answer such questions? So always research the company, research the role that you applied for. Go back to the job application you did, and research the role. Know what exactly they are looking for. Know the problem they have at hand, and know how you can be a person of value to them. Okay? Then follow industry trends. Yes, if you're into human resource, follow human resource trends. I'm not saying you should be posting and doing TikTok and all of that. No, but follow trends. things are getting upgraded daily, things are changing every day. So always follow trends so that you do not miss out or you are not behind in your career. Then prepare answers for common interview questions and have questions ready for the interviewer. There's one thing with us recruiters, once we have asked you all the questions we have in our head, then before we wrap up the interview, we always ask, do you have any question for us? Most people do not have questions, which is quite funny. So are you telling me you understand everything that has been said and done, you do not have questions? So always prepare questions for your interviewer. I'm not saying you should go to ChatGPT and tell them, give me questions I can ask my interviewers. No. But always from your job application, from the job advertisement, from the job description, you should have a question, right? So always prepare a question for the interviewer, even if it is one. Even if you don't have a question, ask them to give you an advice. Just assume, you can just ask them something like, okay, so if eventually I'm, picked for this role, what advice would you give to me to help perform better in this role? That will, spark the interest of the interviewer. Trust me, it works a lot, right? So that will spark the interest of the interviewer. Oh yeah, this person wants to learn, this person is open to learning, this person is open to growth, right? So always prepare questions for the interviewer and prepare answers to commonly asked questions like, we're heading there, right? But let me just give, questions like, um tell us about yourself. That question is one question that a lot of people mess up with. But tell me about yourself is a very important question. Always prepare answers to such question. Let's move quickly. Appearance and first impression. Because it is an online interview, does not mean you should be laying on your bed wearing singlet. It is still an interview is an interview regardless. An interview is an interview, even if you are online, in person, wherever you are. As long as it's an interview, be professional. Your first impression matters a whole lot. When I was just coming up, I made a lot of mistakes, especially with interviews that are online. I was on my bed, slouched, and all of that. And it really, funny enough, none of these recruiters even said anything about it except one person. Yes, he was the one that it was like, I think you're on your bed. Although my bed actually looks like, it has the build, right? But still, it showed. It showed a lot. And if you had not called my attention to it, I would not even have noticed that, oh, this thing you're doing is actually wrong. Right? So always not be on your bed when you have an interview. Get the couch, get a table or a stool and sit there. Be professional regardless. Then smile. Yes, smile, maintain good posture, and project yourself professionally. Do not say you're in an interview and be squeezing your face. You're not fighting with your recruiter, right? So always smile, dress professionally, dress appropriately, right? That's why you should research the company and know what kind of company it is. Dress appropriately, smile, maintain good posture. Okay? Now, body language. Very important. Just because you aren't saying anything does not mean you are not saying a lot. Please give me a minute. I just want to be sure you can still hear me. Okay. So yes, like I was saying, just because you're not saying anything does not mean your body is not saying a lot, right? So always try to, maintain a very good body language. Now, what I mean by body language, your eye contact, do not be fidgeting. Do not look like you do not have confidence. I'm not sure what you are saying. Show engagement, show enthusiasm, like through your posture, through your expressions, through the way you carry yourself. Be interested in the role. Not just apply because you are looking for a job and you are a bit broke. No. Apply because you're interested in the role. Then your voice and communication. Speak clearly, speak confidently, and at a moderate pace rather. Now what this means is do not talk like someone who is chewing hot yam. Talk confidently. Talk and let people hear you when you are speaking. Do not rush your words. Do not be very slow. Do not be sluggish like but also do not be very fast that people cannot hear things like that. So always talk at a moderate pace. Let people hear you. Let people be able to understand what you're saying. Ask questions. That's why I keep asking, can you hear me? If at any point you can't hear me, let me know. Those are very important things to do, especially when you're presenting or when you're at an interview. Then avoid filler words, right? Avoid filler words, generic words, and structure your answer using the framework STAR. That's STAR, which is situation, the task, the action, and the result. We talked about this extensively during the CV interview webinar. Situation is what was the problem at hand. The task, what were you asked to do? The action, what did you do? Right? And the result, what was the result of what of the steps you took? Right? So let's move on. Let's move on quickly. Networking that opens door. Networking that opens door. Now, where do you network? Professional events, conferences, online workshops, platforms like LinkedIn, professional groups, etc. Those are very, very perfect place to, network. Then alumni groups, career fairs, those are very interesting places to network. You get to meet a lot of interesting people. Then how do you introduce yourself? Keep it concise. Keep it concise, keep it professional, and keep it memorable. Example, if you're a fresh graduate, you can say, hi, my name is Teyosi and I'm a recent graduate. Let's say you're at an agricultural conference and you're trying to network with someone. You can just say, hi, my name is Teyosi and I'm a recent graduate of animal science or something, or like relating to the field the career fair you're currently on, right? And I'm passionate about this. I have done this, and this. I'm interested in this, and this. You just spark their interest. You don't need to say too much. You don't even. That's why we always say this 60 seconds elevator pitch. Set yourself under 60 seconds and move. Keep it memorable. Some people don't have time. Once you start talking beyond a minute, they have lost interest in what you are saying, whatever you're saying. So always keep it concise, keep it professional. Your name, your what you studied or what you're interested in, your interest, your passion, etc. Just keep it very brief. Focus on the value you bring, not just what you want. Like when you are stating what you want to get, always state what you are bringing to the table. Do not say I'm the table, right? So always bring something, be a person of value. Then follow up properly. Following up properly. Send a polite, thank you for, let's say you're on LinkedIn and you send someone an invite, or you try to what's the word that LinkedIn use now? I can't quite remember that. But let's use Facebook for example. You send someone a friend request and they accepted your friend request. You can send a polite thank you message. Oh, that's within 48 hours or 24 hours after they have responded. I say, oh hi, thank you for accepting my request. It's nice to have you here. This, and this. Just be short. A simple thank you note is fine. Whether or not they respond to your thank you message, it doesn't really matter as long as you have sent it. Then reference your conversation. People like to know that you actually paid attention to what they said, right? So reference the conversation you've had with this person. Then keep it concise and professional. Keep it concise and professional. Then turning conversation into opportunity. Ask insightful questions, not ask random questions. That's why I always say do not go to ChatGPT and tell them to give you questions, right? Because sometimes the questions might be off point. So ask insightful questions. Look for a way to offer value or assistance and stay connected without being pushy. Yes, there's a line there. Be connected, be available, but don't be pushy, right? Okay, now the main thing for today, answering common interview questions. So these are the questions we'll be answering today. Tell us about yourself. What are your strengths and weaknesses? Why should we hire you? What do you want, or why do you want to work with us? Why do you want this role? And what are your salary expectations? I'm sure for those of us that have been at, one or two interviews, we have come across at least one or two of these questions. So we'll be taking them one after the other, and we'll be seeing how to answer such questions. So let's start with the first one. Tell us about yourself. Now, this is usually the first question that any recruiter will ask you. Tell us about yourself. So let's start with that. Now, use your present, past, proof, and position framework. That's the framework we're going to be using. So let's take it step by step. Your present. Start with what your current role now. What are you doing right now? Okay. Your past, highlight the past experience you've had, the skills you have been able to gather, your achievements, etc. Proof, provide evidence that demonstrates your skills and achievements or impact. Then your position, how do you like show yourself as someone to the role you are applying for? Show yourself as someone who brings value. Then talk about your future if you want to, right? So let me use an example. Okay, apologies for that. Why I tried to get my screen back up. Can you guys hear me? Someone should please confirm they can hear me so I am sure we are on the same page here. You can just unmute yourself.
Yes, ma'am, we can hear you.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. I'm just trying to get my screen back up. Please give me a minute. Apologies for this. Okay. Okay. Okay, it to be up in about 30 seconds. Apologies for this, but I would. Okay. Okay. Okay, it's still being recorded. Let me share my screen so we can continue. The call is still being recorded. Apologies for this, everyone. I think we can all see my screen now. Okay, so let's, apologies for this once again. Nigerian network. But let's go back to what we were discussing. So yes, tell me about yourself question. Okay, we can all see my screen. So yes, I was saying if I am at an interview and I am being asked, can you tell me about yourself? How would I answer such question? Okay, so the way I would go is you start by saying your name, although we know your name, but it's very important to tell us your name so that we, especially when we are interviewing multiple applicants. So you start by stating your name. Hi, my name or good morning. My name is Thuyosi Janet Fawe. Presently, what am I doing? I'm a human resource manager or a human resource executive. Right? Let's say you are currently not working with any company. You can just say that you're a human resource executive or you're a sales manager or you're a marketing expert, whatever it is that you are doing or you were doing, always state that. So it can be, hi, my name is Theosi Janet Fawi and I'm a human resource executive. I have already stated my present role. Over time, I have worked with several companies and I've been able to, gain experiences in recruitment, HR database, etc. You state skills that are relevant to the role you are applying for. Okay. Now proof. The proof that you have actually done that thing. You can now go back to the STAR method. So let's take it again. Hi, my name is Theosi Janet Faye. I'm a human resource executive. Over time, I have worked with 4 or 5 companies and I've been able to build my skill in recruitment, talent management, and people's management. Okay. I have also handled recruitment for over 100 people, and I have been able to streamline the recruitment timeline or reduce the recruitment timeline. You have proven that you have worked with them. If your company is not a company that does not want you mentioning their name, you can feel free to mention their name. So it can be something like, hi, my name is Theosi Janet Faye, and I'm a human resource executive. Currently, I am working with Cedro Royal Limited. Okay, I've stated what I am doing. Over time, I've worked with about 4 companies, including a cybersecurity company, and I've been able to manage people from different careers or different fields or different aspects of the industry. Now, you have mentioned what you have done, mentioned what you are doing, and you have proven that, oh, yes, you've done this. You've had experiences not just in human resource company, but you've worked with cybersecurity company, you've worked with other security companies, and you've been able to improve your skills in those fields. So as a human resource manager, I like using human resource because that's where I have my experience. As a human resource manager, you're not just recruiting for human resource departments. You might be asked to handle recruitment for sales and marketing, might be asked to handle recruitment for UI UX designer, graphics designer. That's why you need to be versatile. As a recruiter or as an employer, you need to be very versatile. Not just your industry, but also know about other industries. If not, what questions will you ask the person you are interviewing? So like I said, tell us about yourself. You need to say you're not just looking for a job. The next one, strength and weakness. It is very important when you are asked about if to do a SWOT analysis on yourself. That's your weakness, your strength, your weakness, your opportunities, and your threats. Always start with your strength. It's very important to always state like the value you have. Do not start with your weakness. Oh, I do not know how to communicate. I do not have proper time management skills. Do not start with your weaknesses. Always start with your strength. And when stating your weakness, please not let your weakness be more than your strength, right? So do not state 5 strengths and you're stating 15 weaknesses. And I'm wondering, okay, is this who I want to employ? So always state your strengths first and let your weaknesses be minimal, like very, very little. Also, that's why you have the opportunity. In as much as you're stating your weaknesses and you do not want to lie, also include what you have done to tackle those weaknesses. Let's say you have poor management skills. What have you done to handle that? There are apps or platforms that help you keep track or send reminders to you. You can say you're currently working on improving your time management skills and you have done this, and this. Those are your opportunities. Do not just tell us your weakness and leave it there. Tell us what you have done to handle those weaknesses. Okay, then why should we hire you? This is a very common question. Now, why should we hire you? It shows your unique value. That's why I say always go back to the job application. Know the problem the employer is trying to solve and use that to answer the why should we hire you question. Show your value, show your impact, show your potential, and how your skills align with the company's need. So it is very important, like I said, once you are invited for an interview, go back to the job application and know what exactly they are looking for. That will help you to answer the why should we hire you question. Now, why do you want to work with us? Some companies might ask you, some companies might not ask you, but it is very important for you to research the company you are applying to, or the company from which you've been invited for an interview. And that will help you to answer the why do you want to work with us questions. Now, this will have to do with the company itself. Let's say you want to work with a company, maybe an NGO. You can say, if they ask you why do you want to work with us, you can say you've seen the project they have. Please not use my live projects. So you can say you've seen the projects they have carried out, which relates to health, and you are very interested in health and or if you think you have so much interest in culture, say what they do and use that to answer the why you want to work with us question. It's very important to know the company, what they do, use that to answer the why do you want to work with us question. So what I have here is show research about the company's culture, mission, vision. Yeah. Express genuine interest and alignment. Exactly. Express genuine interest and alignment. Now, why do you want this role? Why do you want this role? Now, this is your opportunity to tell us, oh, okay, you've been into marketing for a while and you feel this role is an opportunity for you to improve yourself or grow yourself while also giving back to your employer, okay, and being a person of value to the employer. So why do you want this role? State how the role will help your career goals. Always state how the role will help your career goals and show enthusiasm, right? State why how the role will help your career goals, will help your plans for the future, and also be enthusiasm about it. Do not just say it like you're lying, right? So always show some kind of interest, some very high level of interest. Salary expectation is one very common question. So what are your salary expectations for this role? To answer this, it's a very tricky question because you can either underprice or overprice yourself here. Now, what I mean is, out of here, a lot of people underprice themselves. Let's say as a recruiter for a particular role, I already have an amount in my head that like the maximum that I want to pay this person, or a range for salary in my head. But out of here, let's say normally the position is a maybe 250K position, like 250,000 naira monthly. Out of here, some people will end up underpricing themselves and requesting for 100K or 150. Now, some recruiters can be very nice and they'll still pay you what they had in mind for that role, but not every recruiter. Not everyone will be that nice. So do not underprice or overprice yourself. So if I'm saying do not underprice or overprice yourself, how do you then answer the question of what is your salary expectation? Research. Research on the company. Know how much they pay people. Sometimes those amounts are not fixed or specific. But research on the company, know their salary range. Know their salary range. Then secondly, research on the role. let's say it's a marketing executive role. Research on marketing executive roles in Nigeria. Please do not go and research. If you are applying for an entry marketing executive, then you are researching salary of for an experienced person, you will end up missing it. So if it's an entry level role, be clear in your research. Entry level salary for maybe a marketing intern, or entry level salary for a sales intern. This will give you a range in your head, right? Let's say sales intern, they are being paid 100 to 150, or marketing intern, they are being paid 100 to 150. You have researched and you know that for that role, that's the range, 100 to 150. You then research on the company. Let's say the company, their average salary is about 130. You know that, okay, the company does not average salary, that's maybe you've done research on like 10 employees of the company, and you see oh, the range is just around that, the average is 130. Average for the company for entry level roles is 130. Average for the role, according to your research, is 100 to 150. So you already have a range in your head. You already have a range in your head. So it's easier that way to then pick a figure or an amount within that range. So what I have here is be prepared with market research, provide a realistic range. Yes, like I've been saying range, range, range. I did not say a specific amount. Some jobs will clearly tell you how much the salary is for gross and for net. Some will put gross, always ask of your net. Some will put net. So some jobs will provide you that salary there. That's why most times they might not even ask salary expectations, or they might still just provide a range. Like Jobberman will provide you a range. Then the employer or the recruiter will ask you what's your salary expectation. You should fall within that range. You can say, if the job has a range, you can say something like, oh, while applying for the job, I saw that the salary range is between 150 and 250. I am comfortable with anything within that range. Or you can say, after researching the job, I realized that the salary range is between 150 to 250. And if at all you want to pick a fixed amount, you can pick something within that range. Not go outside that range or below that range because you're scared. Always pick something within the range. Always use a range. You don't need to say, oh, I'm expecting 350,000. You don't need to necessarily give us an amount. Use a range. Use a range. Or if you're not so sure, you can ask the recruiter how much they want to they you can say something like, oh, I always know companies like this always have a budget in mind, and I'm comfortable with something within the budget between the range of this and this. So you have told them that they have a budget, they are looking at a particular amount, and you're comfortable with anything between the range of this and this. So use a range. Use a range. Okay, mistakes that cost you opportunities. This will be the recap. Mistakes that cost you opportunities. Poor preparation. That's not researching the company, the role, or the industry and going into an interview without structured answer. It's a very costly mistake. You might not get that job at all. Then we have generic answers, giving the same answers for all questions without tailoring it to the company. That's why I always say research the company, research the role. Do not give a general answer, right? Always tailor it to the role and tailor it to the company. Lack of clarity, confusing answers, going from A to B, from B to C, from C to D, just being everywhere. That's why I said be professional, be composed. Let your composure speak for you, right? Then low confidence, slouch posture. We are like this because it's like this because it's an online interview. Slouch posture, weak voice. We cannot even hear you. We're trying to. Oh, what are you saying? What are you saying? Even in person, so people are very timid and they talk very calmly that might not even be able to hear them. Please, do not let your being shy make you lose opportunities. I'm also a shy person, but I'm here doing this. So do not let your being shy make you lose opportunities. Then lack of eye contact. Lack of eye contact. You're talking to someone and you're looking at their feet, or you're looking at your own feet, or you're playing with your hands. You're just doing something that does not even look like this person is ready for the job. Then hesitation or over apologizing. Now, I'm not saying do not apologize, but do not over apologize, right? Stop saying sorry, 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 sorry. Even if you're doing a presentation, stop saying sorry. So even if you make a mistake, you are educating people. That's why it's a presentation. They might not even know that you've made a mistake until you now call their attention to it by saying sorry, right? So try not to over apologize. Do not overthink your answers before saying them. It's good to think before you talk, but do not overthink your answers. It will make you just keep quiet even when you know the right thing to say. Final charge, your breakthrough is closer, and that is very true. Your breakthrough is closer. Preparation, positioning, and performance. Prepare for preparation, like I've been saying since morning, research, 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 practice, 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 and plan yourself. Positioning, how do you present yourself? How do you present your CV? How do your brand, your personal brand, because you are a brand. So how do you stand out? For performance, how do you execution during application, networking, interviews, etc. Your action. For every action you take, there should be a reason. Now, today's session, we have gone through everything from series 1, series 2, series 3, and series 4. And we are hoping that with everything, you're able to put things into play and practice everything that you have learned so far. So take what you have learned seriously. This is your moment. This is the moment for you to take a step. This is when you take a step. So take an action immediately. Do not wait. Do not be, like I said, do not overthink things. Do not wait till you are 100% ready. You might never be 100% ready. And life waits for no one. So do not wait. Apply to at least 3 opportunities this week. I said 3 because I want them to be quality applications. I can tell you apply to 7 opportunities and you just do a random application, right? But no. So apply to at least 3 opportunities this week using all the strategies we have mentioned. Practice your interview answers daily. There are people who do interview coaching. So we'll let you know if we'll do that later on. But yes, practice your interview answers. If you need coaching, kindly reach out. We're here to help you. So reach out. Then network intentionally. Do not just randomly. Yeah, Nigerian network has done it. So yeah, sorry. Do not just randomly. I hope you can still see me. But yes, we're wrapping up. Do not just randomly apply or do not just randomly network intentionally. Then remember, opportunities favor those who are prepared.